Hello, beautiful loved ones. I pray this message finds you well and full of love and light. If this is your first video, thank you for joining me. If you've come from one of my other videos, nice to see you here. My name is Aisha, and I will be going over what can you do in a meditative state. Okay, so in this video I'm going to be going over just a few, like I'm going to be like scratching the surface, like literally, but I will be talking about one of the biggest and main things that you can definitely do, and that will set you up for, a lifetime of success. If you don't even learn how to do anything else while you meditate, this one thing will probably be the best thing that you ever learn how to do. And I'll also teach you in the simplest way how that works and how you can do it. Okay, so the main thing that you can do in a meditative state is something that is referred to, or I like to refer to as reprogramming. Okay, so reprogramming the mind. And what do I mean by that? So an example of reprogramming is changing negative thoughts into positive, okay, and choosing positive emotions over negative, okay, and you can reprogram yourself to do that automatically. Okay, starting out, it does seem like that's kind of hard, and a lot of us do it unknowingly. As this relates to mental health, this is something that is very beneficial, because if you are one who is suffering from depression, or things of the like, a lot of times it's because we've gotten into a habit of not necessarily choosing the negative thoughts, but as those negative thoughts come in, we don't choose to let them go. Okay, we just hold on to them and let them be there. And yes, they serve a purpose to be there, but then, they should go away. But a lot of times, if you're having these mental illness issues, they stay there and they don't go anywhere. Okay, and so meditation is a one of many tools, but for me, it's my favorite tool to use in order to reprogram the mind to allow you to be able to be at peace. Okay. Okay, so why is it more conducive to do this reprogramming while in a meditative state? And this is because when you are in alpha, or when you are in beta, which is what I'm in now, you are processing a lot of external stimuli. And so the further down you go, or the further you shift into meditation, you go into alpha and theta and even delta if you can, you're processing less and less external stimuli. And so when you go to give the instructions for the reprogramming as the programmer, your brain and your mind is more receptive to the instructions, because all it has to do is deal with those instructions. It doesn't have to deal with the sounds it's hearing on the outside, the lights that are coming in. It doesn't have to deal with so much external stimuli. Okay, so that's why it is more conducive to do the reprogramming in a meditative state. All right. How reprogramming works. And I'm telling you right now, I'm really excited about this, y'all. I'm so excited because I got visuals. I got visuals. Now, keep in mind, these visuals are extremely elementary. Why are they elementary? Because they were designed for babies, okay? And so if this was a book that is supposed to be read for a baby, then I guarantee you that this is something that you can grasp, okay? Now, with that being said, I'm just going to jump right into it because I don't want this video to be longer than it has to be. So here we go. The first book we're going to read is called, I don't know if this is backwards or not, but anyways, it's called Neural Networks for Babies. And yes, this is talking about the brain. So we're just going to jump right into it, okay? This is a ball. This right here, we're going to pretend that's a ball, okay? This is a neuron. It sends messages throughout your body. Neuron. Give the neuron input and output, and it can help us learn. Give the ball input and output, and it acts like a neuron. Okay? Yes, I'm going to read the entire book. It's not that long, but I do have 2 books, but they go together. It's important, trust me. The neuron can have 1 input and 1 output, or many. Okay? Is there a red animal in this picture? Now, you and I both know that there is a red animal in this picture. The neuron decides based on its input. So it's receiving input. It receives, pieces of the input. Okay? When the neuron has an answer, it sends its own message. So it sends out a message. So once the neuron gets that answer, it sends it out. Does this animal have 8 legs? Yes. Same thing. Boom, boom, boom. Based on its input. Okay? When it gets an answer, it sends its own message. Now and I had a hard time trying to figure out why it was broken up that way. But say, if you saw this image as you broke it down as 2, 2, 2, and 2, and that's how you put it together as 8, then that's how your neuron works. That doesn't necessarily mean that's, I've read this a lot of times, and it took me a while to realize, like, there's some explanation that needs to go on with this book. But so if you only see it as 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, it would be that way. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 8 times, and then you would still get 8, right? Because we know how to count, right? Okay. And so it sends out that message once it knows that it's 8. Okay. Where do the messages go? Neurons talk to each other. They connect together in a network. So we have all these neurons that are all throughout they're just everywhere, right? I mean, brains have neurons, okay? Input neurons look at parts of the picture. So you have neurons over here that are specifically designed to just take in information, okay? Just take it in. It doesn't do anything with it, but just take it in, receive it. Output neurons have answers about the pictures, okay? So input neurons here, then you have the neurons that are designed to question or try to figure out what it is, and then they send it out, okay? And then you have output neurons. Neurons in betweens don't see the pictures or give answers. They are hidden. That's almost irrelevant information for what we're doing today, but I just explained that in the past page, okay? How do the hidden neurons learn to decide? Now, this is the important part. Listen, okay? How do they learn to decide? Okay? And this is the key to reprogramming the mind. Training data can have correct labels on them. That means that over time, the neurons are trained to know that this is yellow, this is red, this is green, this is blue. I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to sit there. If I was a toddler, those connections weren't made yet. If you ask a kid, like, what color is that? And they got to sit there and think about it, because those connections are not strongly formed. Okay, I can automatically see that that's 5. I don't have to sit there and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see visually because I've seen pictures before where there was a shape like this, and I knew that meant that it had 5 arms. Okay, so once a neuron has been labeled correctly and it's been ingrained, and that pathway has been strengthened over time because of usage, okay, then that's how you are able to program a neuron, essentially, okay? After training, the network has learned to label new pictures, all right? So check this out. This is interesting, okay? because this also comes into reprogramming, and you do it when you learn a language, another language, right? So say we got this here, and we're looking at this, and we don't know what this is, but we know that this is orange. In English, is orange, okay, and it also has 5 legs. Now, when we come into reprogramming, as far as another language, now we look at this and we're like, what is this? Naranja. En español es naranja. Y how many arms does it has? Tienen 5 brazos, ¿verdad? Sí, yo hablo español. Okay, so, but that is the way that it's been trained. Okay, so in English, your neurons have been trained to know that this is orange and it has 5 arms. But then when you learn a new language, or if you know a new language, you essentially have 2 pathways for the same image. That is very possible. You can have 2 pathways for the same image. Okay, and so that's that. Okay, I hope and pray this makes sense. I'm pretty sure it does. If it doesn't, ask questions. All right. A really big network can solve even harder problems with the help of computers, but our brains are computers, and that's what we're going to get into. Okay, so hope that makes sense. Now you know neural networks. All right, so the next book is going to get into how that reprogramming takes place. Okay, so we understand that neurons can be programmed by being trained. Okay, once they're labeled with X, Y, and Z, we can train them. Okay, the next book, this is so cool, is Coding for Babies. Relatively simple, but again, I'll go through and explain. All right, real fast. Choo choo, here comes a train. Blue, yellow, green. Where's the red car? Oh, there it is. So the baby takes 3 steps to the right, trying to get to the train, right? 3 steps forward, and 3 steps to the left. These are steps. This is the path that the baby took to get to this thing. Then it took 3 steps all by itself. All right. So notice here there's a path here that the baby took to get from this train, boop, 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 over here to get to the toy box to get the other train. Baby always follows the same steps to get from the rug to the toy box and back again. This is the important part. So listen. This pattern of steps is called an algorithm. Okay? The pattern that the baby took to get from the rug to the toy box and back, that's an algorithm. Okay? It's a pattern. All right? 3, 2, then 3 again, or whatever. It's a pattern, and so therefore it's an algorithm. Okay? The train that the baby is playing with follows an algorithm too. A tiny computer tells the train what to do. But who tells the computer what to do? A programmer. That's you. You're the programmer. You're capable of programming your mind. Okay? Programmer. We're the programmers. That's all we are. Okay? Some of them are some more adept at it than others, but it's definitely a skill that is learnable. Just like coding. Okay? Babies can learn it clearly. All right? A programmer, that's you, writes an algorithm in a language the computer can understand. And what's your language? Our language is English. Okay, that's what we understand. Or it's Español, or Ruski, or Alemán, or German, or Arabic. Okay, whatever your language is, okay, that's the language you use to reprogram. Okay, the language in computer terms, though, is called code. Okay. And that's why I think it's important that if we can learn coding outside, that we can learn it inside. So the computer reads the code and follows the steps in the algorithm. Okay. So the brain reads the language and follows the steps because you're the programmer. So the brain reads the steps that you gave it because you're the programmer and follows the steps. That's all it's there to do. Okay. That's all it's there to do. I don't know that this is, I think that's pretty much it. The rest of it is not that important. Oh, but I'll read it because I know some people be like, I want to read the rest of the story. Okay. Baby can listen to music, eat a warm lunch, and play a game, all because computers are reading the following code. When baby pushes the button, burn, computer tells the train to move. There goes the train, choo choo. Okay. So, what does this mean in terms of you being able to reprogram your mind? So we talked about neurons and the neural networks and how that they can be trained to in order to learn new data. Okay, so those neural pathways over time, when they get used a lot, then they get ingrained and things are automatically. You don't have to think about it. Oh, that's red. Oh, that's blue. Oh, that's orange. Okay, but if you needed to reprogram that, i.e. learn a different language, then you would go through and take the steps that it needs in order to do that. You would retrain your brain to say that, okay, this is naranja, es azul, es rojo, es morado, or whatever. Okay, so the same thing goes when it comes to emotions. All right, so say there is something that happens and you get triggered. Okay, so say there's a road rage. I'm gonna use road rage as an example. So say you're that type of person that as you're driving, and this person cuts you off, and your immediate response, because that's what you programmed yourself to be like, is to be, oh, this mother, what they do, why they, and then you flipping people off and doing all this extra stuff, using this energy that you don't even need to do, because that is what you programmed yourself to be. Or either somebody else did your programming, or you allowed yourself to accept that programming, okay, to respond that way. Now, when it comes to choosing to do something else, you're effectively creating a new neural pathway. So say that same instance happened, and instead of you reacting that way, you're going to say, hold on, I don't want to react that way. I'm going to choose to do this way. And it may feel uncomfortable at first, but that's because it's new. Anything new is going to, that, like, I know for some people learning a new language is like frustrating because it's new and it's uncomfortable, and so they don't want to do it. And anything that's new, it's going to take time. It's going to take practice. It's not something that could just happen overnight and just be magically there. Well, actually, I'm talking about something else in the next video that actually make this stuff even easier to do. But that's okay. But we're taking baby steps here for some people who need these baby steps. Okay, so reprogramming the mind, choosing to create a new way of doing things. Okay, and the more you make that choice, the stronger that connection becomes, and the more automatic it becomes. Okay, the stronger you make, the more you choose to be, have a positive response, or whatever it is, the more you make that choice, the stronger that neural network becomes, that neural pathway becomes, and the more automatic it will be. And then guess what happens to that old neural network? Since you're not using it no more and the energy is not being directed in that, it starts to shrivel up and it essentially dissipates. And then now you have space for something else that can be more conducive to your living a harmonious and peaceful life. Okay? So these old ways of being that are taking up all this space in your mind, in your brain, those are two different things, but right now we're kind of, I'm in tandem here. Okay? The more you use that thing that no longer serves you, the stronger it gets. But then soon as you start to go that way, to make the decision to do something that is beneficial to you, whether it's choosing to not react this way, or choosing to, when a negative thought comes in, you acknowledge that it's, because some of our negative thoughts are reoccurring, right? But then soon as you acknowledge it and say, okay, I don't want that, I'm going to choose this, over time, that negative thought will be a thing of the past. Okay, and the more energy you put into that newness, the stronger it becomes and the more automatic it becomes. I just wanted to add to that, changing the being able to change your negative thoughts into positive. So when we create those pathways, one of the ways to create that pathway and to also make it stronger is to find a solution. Okay, so not only just choosing to be positive, but if you're in a situation and it's you're not, I don't know, so say you lost your job, okay, and that becomes depressing, and then you have these negative feelings, right? Or say you're just ended a relationship and you having these negative thoughts because you're like sad about it, okay? So yeah, you're going to be in that negative space, but one, choosing to be out of that negative space is one thing, but then how do you really get out of that is by finding a solution. Okay, so or seeing the silver lining or what have you. So in the job loss, okay, seeing it as a new opportunity to explore a different area, or saying, okay, I lost this job, but I'm just about to get up and I'm about to go and I'm about to find this, a new, stream of income or what have you. Or, that relationship that, it it ended because it no longer served you, but in your mind you like mourning it, which is fine. But instead of but once you get out of that, okay, this woe is me, this has happened, now you're choosing to be positive. So you choose the positive, but it's kind of hard to make that positive stick. In order to help make that positive, that positive emotion stick and create that neural pathway, is to find a solution. Okay, it's one thing to just go ahead and choose, and that's I would say maybe easier said than done, but practically the way to do that is to find a solution and know that there's always a solution. There's always a solution. I pride myself on being able to find a solution. Like, even at my worst time, my worst down time, when I was down and out, and I don't mind sharing this with you. I do have a therapist. Shout out to you, homegirl. Yes. And that was my solution. That was my solution, was finding a therapist, finding somebody who I could talk to help get me through what I was going through. Okay? There's other examples I could use for myself personally, but that was the time where like me seeking external help was the solution. Any other time it was, oh, I could do this, or oh, I could do that, or oh, I learned this lesson, so I'm grateful for it, so I can move on even though it was bad or whatever. But finding a solution will always, I can't see a time where it would not yield a more, or evoke a more positive response in your mental space. That being said, that is all I have to say for now. Again, I don't want to make this too long, but I pray this message is beneficial to someone. I pray that it makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I had a lot of fun doing this video. I really want to use my visuals. In my other video, I'll be using another visual along the same lines. But yes, until next time, my lovely, lovely souls. Peace.